Okay, so now we're going to make the quintessential classic martini cocktail, and it's going to be made with our Bombay Sapphire gin, not vodka. Often a lot of confusion, Gail, between vodka and gin when it comes to making martinis. Gin was and remains the spirit of the classic martini cocktail.
Now, you mentioned before making the perfect dry martini. What's the difference between a dry and a wet martini?
Has everything to do with the amount of vermouth.
Right.
In a classic dry martini, very little vermouth. In an older style wet martini, more vermouth, almost half and half at some point.
All right, well, let's make it.
Let's do it. So I'm going to ask you if you would pour some water into our glass that's chilly. It'll be really, really cold. And I'm going to put 3 parts of Bombay Sapphire into our trusty mixing glass. When they say splash, it is literally just a tiny, tiny splash of the Noy Prat dry white vermouth. And it's really just like that.
Wow.
That's it. And that's all we need.
All right.
So we're going to dump this out. Okay, great. So then our glass is nice and cold. We're going to put some ice here. Plenty of ice, actually. Put our long bar spoon in, and we're going to stir it thoroughly so it gets super, super cold. And the idea also behind stirring versus shaking is when you stir the gin, you don't bruise it. That's very important in making a perfect classic martini cocktail.
In a drink like this, the spirit's integrity is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to strain this into our ice-cold glass.
So how do you recommend garnishing your martinis?
Well, it's entirely a matter of preference, Gail. I would tell you this, that a classic martini, olives, strictly olives. But if you wanted to accentuate the citrus botanicals in this Bombay Sapphire, I would recommend using lemon peel. Some people like to put onions in them too, or alternate them on a skewer with the olives. But again, it's entirely a matter of preference.
Now, if you add the onions instead of olives, that's called a Gibson, correct?
You know your cocktails. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I tend to like to do 3, and they actually fit perfectly on these skewers. And then you just lay them into the drink very gently. And you could either eat them while you're having this very appetite-whetting cocktail, or you could wait till the end and then eat them then too.
And it's that olive flavor that I actually think goes so well with pairing.
Yeah.
What I've done to pair it is make a really simple olive tapenade, and it will be a perfect way to start a meal. So all I've done is put in the food processor some black olives, some onions, some garlic, and a little bit of olive oil. Spread them on some toasted baguette with some fresh thyme. And what's great about this pairing is the savoriness of both the drink and the hors d'oeuvre is that they really whet your appetite and get you ready for dinner.
So there you have it, the Bombay Sapphire Ultimate Martini Cocktail.